You tend not to learn unless you're forced to learn, and what you tend to learn by force are difficult lessons. First of all, you need to know them for your own life, because you got to know that there are differences in intelligence. It's really important. If you go into a job and you're not smart enough for that job, you're going to have one bloody miserable time, and you're going to make life wretched for the people around you because you won't be able to handle the position. And as you climb hierarchies of competence, the demand on fluid intelligence increases. And so unless you want to fail, you don't put yourself in over your head. You have to figure that out with intelligence. You have to figure it out with conscientiousness. You have to figure it out with creativity. You have to figure it out with stress tolerance, with agreeableness, because you want to go into a cooperative environment and not a competitive one if you're agreeable. And with neuroticism, you probably want to keep the stress level of your job relatively low. Most people have at least one significant weakness in their intelligence personality makeup, and you got to be careful not to place yourself in a position where that's going to be a fatal flaw. But what you really want to do, as far as I can tell, if you want to maximize your chances for both success and, let's say, well-being, is you want to find a strata of occupation in which you would have an intelligence that would put you in the upper quartile.
One of the hardest things to do when it's becoming successful is to constantly be ready and be prepared for whatever's happening in your life. You're going to want to make sure that you have as much information on whatever subject it is so that you can tackle any obstacle and break through any wall that is put in your way throughout your life. It's going to be challenging to be able to get to this point, but you're going to want to do whatever you can to always be prepared. Because when stuff hits the fan, you want to be ready to charge full force ahead and not even let it affect you, because you're so prepared and ready to go that it didn't even stop you or make you flinch, because you're that focused on achieving what it is you want to achieve. Nothing can stop you because you're just that committed and that into your craft. You want to make sure that you turn down the naysayers and prove them wrong and make them a little upset that you're so excited and so ready to get it done that they're not going to understand how much you want it. They're going to be the types of people that are going to talk the talk but not walk the walk. And you're going to be the one that's talking the talk and walking the walk. You're going to be doing it all, and you're going to be so ready to do whatever it takes to make sure you cross your T's and dot your I's when it comes down to it, because you're going to be the one person who finally makes it, the one person who finally achieves their goal that everybody said was impossible, the one who does what they said they were going to do because they knew they had it inside themselves.
Was to stop saying things that made me weak. I mean, I'm still trying to do that because I'm always feeling when I talk whether or not the words that I'm saying are either making me align or making me come apart. And I think the alignment, as true as you can say them, let's say, then they come out of the depths inside of you. Because we don't know where thoughts come from, but I believe that you can feel that. And I learned some of that from reading Carl Rogers, by the way, who's a great clinician, because he talked about mental health in part as the coherence between the abstract and the physical, that the two things were aligned. And there's a lot of idea of alignment in psychoanalytic and clinical thinking. But anyways, I decided that I would start practicing not saying things that would make me weak. And what happened was that I had to stop saying almost everything that I was saying. I would say 95% of it. It's a hell of a shock to wake up and I mean, this was over a few months, but it's a hell of a shock to wake up and realize that you're mostly dead wood. The world is complicated beyond comprehension, and you only see a very little bit of it. And the way you structure your understanding is you make assumptions about things, and they're simplifying assumptions. So if you trust someone, you reduce their complexity massively, right? Because let's say we were married, then there's a whole bunch of ways that you're going to act that are going to be simpler. Now, those simplifying structures are hierarchically assembled, and some of them are far more important than others. Trust is one of them, especially trust in loved ones. It destabilizes your past, all the memories you have. It destabilizes your present. It destabilizes your future. It shakes your faith in human beings, including yourself. And everything collapses, and that's an ego death. Now, underneath the self is this thing that remains constant across ego deaths. But it's deeper and less personal. It's archetypal. And it's the thing that the ego collapses into when it collapses, and then it rebuilds the ego. Something like that across time. But that's what an ego death is. find that when you start a new job, especially if you've stretched yourself a little bit beyond your zone of comfort, that you very much feel like an imposter, right, when you're first there. And then the question is, well, how do you master that? And the answer to that seems to be, well, it seems fairly straightforward. If the place that you're in has any degree of possibility, if it isn't inhabited by demons, so to speak, and that is the best way of mastering a new territory. And in all probability, the degree to which you're able to act that out is precisely proportionate to the degree to which you're going to become a master in that territory. And that sort of thing can happen a lot faster than people think. It's really quite remarkable how fast you can move forward if you can establish yourself somewhere and prove yourself useful, assuming that you're around people to whom proving yourself useful actually matters. Like, I know perfectly well that you can end up in an employment situation where you're punished for your virtues, right? In which case you should just get the hell out of there. And really, you get out of there and you go find somewhere where if you work hard and do what you're supposed to do, you're actually going to be rewarded, because that's not a workplace, that's hell, and you should just leave there.
Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, please go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let us know what you thought down in the comment section below.